We have some big tax changes related to the auto deduction. And you wanna know these changes, especially if you wanna take advantage of writing off vehicles in 2024. What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of Tax-Free Living, where I teach entrepreneurs and business owners just like you how to live tax-free. Now, today, we're gonna be talking about how to write off vehicles in 2024. So before we get into it, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and make sure you tune in to this episode probably twice, because we have some really good things that we have to discuss. Okay, guys. So what were the changes that we need to know in relation to the 2024 taxes in relation to the auto deduction? Now, you might know or might not know is that there are two ways to deduct your vehicles in your business. Okay, there are two ways to deduct vehicles in your business, and we're going to talk about both of them today. But one thing I need you all to know is that when it comes to business vehicles, okay, because this is a common misconception, when it comes to business vehicles, the IRS does not care whether the vehicle is in your personal name or your business name in order to write it off on your taxes. Okay? What the IRS cares about is, do you plan on using this vehicle at least 50% for business use? If that is the case, then you can deduct a percentage of that vehicle's expenses on your taxes. Okay, so I don't want you to think that you have to get a vehicle in your business's name in order to write it off on your taxes. Okay, that's not the case. And I want you all to know that, because I don't want you all thinking that you can't take advantage of these deductions just because you don't have the vehicle in your business name. Okay, all right, so now let's talk about two different methods. So we have the mileage method, and then we have the actual method. Right? So let's start with the mileage method. How does the mileage method work? Well, the mileage method is really simple, right? You simply take your business miles that you've driven for that year and you multiply it by the mileage rate that the IRS has set. Okay? And the mileage rate for 2024 is 67 cents a mile. This is the highest that has ever been in history. Okay, so the mileage rate for 2024 is 67 cents a mile. So let's do an example. Let's say you have a vehicle and you drove 10,000 miles for your business. Okay, that means you would take 10,000 and multiply it by 67 cents. Which would come out to $6,700. So you would get a $6,700 tax deduction for your vehicle on your business tax return for those business miles that you drove. $6,700 deduction is not bad. That's a pretty good deduction for simply driving around. Now, in my opinion, anytime the IRS gives you a super easy way to do things, is probably not going to give you the highest deduction, because they want you to take the easy way out, right? So the mileage method is the easy route when it comes to writing off vehicles. Now, here's a secret strategy that most people don't know when they're taking the mileage deduction, right? So the way the mileage deduction works is, if you have, let's say you have a home and then you have an office where you work from. The commute from your home to your office does not count towards the business miles. Now, if you commute from your office to the supply store to another office to another supply store, that's fine. But your home to your office does not count as towards your business miles. That is commuting, right? And the ride back from the office back home does not count either. That's commuting. That does not count towards your business miles. But if you have a home office and you're taking advantage of the home office deduction, your home office is technically your first stop in your commute to work. So from going up from upstairs in the bedroom to downstairs to your home office, that's your commute. So that means leaving your home office to get to your other office, that counts towards business miles. So what I'm saying is, it simply by having a home office, you can increase your mileage because your home office is technically your first stop. Y'all can thank me later for that one. Secret tax play. Okay, so that's how the mileage deduction works. Now, how does the actual method work? So the actual method is different, right? So the way the actual method works is that you cannot take any of your mileage as a deduction, right? So you don't get any deduction for mileage, but you are able to deduct everything else. So if you're using the actual method, you get to deduct all expenses related to your vehicle, right? Based off the percentage of business use for your vehicle. So let's say you have a vehicle and it's 75% business and it's 25% personal, right? And if you only have one vehicle, the highest I recommend you use that you say is business use is 80% business and 20% personal. I wouldn't go any higher than that, just so you know. So let's say your vehicle was 75% business, 25% personal. So that means that you can write off 75% of all expenses associated with your vehicle. So that means you can write off 75% of the interest on your car note. You can write off 75% of the auto insurance. You can write off 75% of the gas you pay for the year. You can write off 75% of the maintenance and repairs that you pay for through the year. You can write off 75% of the parking that you might have to pay for the year. You can write off 75% of the car washes detail. All expenses related to your vehicle are now deductible in your business in direct correlation to the business use percentage of that vehicle. So when you think about it, that could be a large expense. Not to mention that with the actual method, you could take advantage of the depreciation deduction. And the depreciation deduction, for those of you all that don't know, simply says this: the IRS understands that your vehicle is going to lose value over time, right? So they're going to give you a tax deduction today for your vehicle losing value in the future, right? So the way the depreciation deduction works, you basically get a tax deduction for the future loss of value for your vehicle. If your vehicle is less than 6,000 pounds, the max deduction that you can take for the max depreciation deduction is $20,500. That is the max depreciation deduction that you can take in 2024 if your vehicle weighs less than 6,000 pounds. If your vehicle weighs over 6,000 pounds, there is no max of depreciation you can take, but it's based off of the percentage of the cost of the vehicle. So in 2023, you were allowed to write off 80% of the cost of the vehicle the year that you purchased it, right? Now in 2024, you were only able to write off 60% of the depreciation of the cost of the vehicle. So if you bought a $100,000 Cadillac Escalade, which is well over 6,000 pounds, you would get a $60,000 tax deduction for doing so, on top of car washes, gas, insurance, parking, on top of all those expenses that we discussed before. So this could be a huge deduction for you as a business owner, right? So now that you know how the actual method works, and now that you know how the mileage method works, in 2024, which method is going to be best for you? And the answer is, it depends. Okay? If you have a cheap car and you drive a lot of miles, most likely the mileage method is going to be the best for you, right? Now, if you have an expensive car and you don't drive that much, then the actual method might be best for you because you're able to take advantage of depreciating the cost of the vehicle, right? And the cost of all the repairs and all the things like that. So, but what my advice for you would be is to look at both. Like, do the math for both and just pick what's higher. It's not that hard. Tell your CPA, I want a side-by-side comparison of the actual method versus the mileage method, and then we're gonna take whichever one is higher. That's how you solve the problem. So that's, guys, those are the things that you need to know if you're going to take advantage of writing off your vehicles in 2024 and beyond. If you like this episode, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and go ahead, while you already here, go ahead and watch another episode. You might as well go ahead and binge watch all these episodes so you can learn how to live tax-free and therefore become financially free. All right, guys, love y'all. See y'all on the next episode. Peace.